Ladies and gentlemen, I once again welcome you to another enlightening edition of Sports Pillars Daily Updates. The Super Eagles' chances of reaching the 2026 World Cup tournament look slim as their hopes have stumbled. And I have a lot to talk from the camp of the Super Eagles. Can they still make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament? A lot of people are sharing their opinion, and I have the full gist for you in this video. Teboho Mukwena, South Africa eligibility brouhaha. Most of the Nigerian football community are passionate about this whole issue, and I'm going to give you the latest updates. Before I proceed with the details of all these stories, if you are new on this platform, please let's support the platform to grow. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel, hit on the post notification bell for more updates. Don't forget to like the video and share to other social media platforms. As usual, my name is Solomon Siloboko, your only nomenclature with engineers philosophy in sports, a Ghanaian who has declared his full support for Nigeria sports, and I've been given a Nigerian name on this platform as the only one, Solomon Chukwu Emeka. And please do what to leave your decent comments in the comment box for special shoutouts in my subsequent videos. And no more, let's get straight forward into the video. To commence with is the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They are finally done with their two matches of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers spread across the months of September. They had 4 out of 6 points and they scored 2 goals and conceded a goal. And from the look of things are very difficult this time around for the Super Eagles to make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament. Automatically, they are not out of the World Cup tournaments, but technically, they are out of the tournament. Their hopes are now lying and hanging on a thin rope, of which I have to give out the comprehensive insights of how they can make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament. Now, let's check out the table for the Super Eagles in Group C of the CAF World Cup qualifiers. So far, the Super Eagles is now on the 3rd position. They are trailing Benin and South Africa. South Africa is leading with 17 points plus 8 goals. Benin, 14 points plus 4 goals. Nigeria, the Super Eagles, 11 points plus 2 goals. Rwanda, 11 points, no goal. Lesotho, Zimbabwe, 6 minus 8, 4 minus 6 respectively. And from FIFA and the official communique, they are out. They've been eliminated for making it to the 2026 World Cup tournament. No matter the points in their matches spread across the month of October, they can still make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament. So automatically, Lesotho and Zimbabwe in Nigeria's group are out of the World Cup tournament. Now let's check out the best runner-ups. They can also make it to the 2026 World Cup tournaments, but their path to the tournaments is very difficult. It's in a form of sinusoidal. You have to go up, come down before you can make it to the 2026 World Cup tournaments. From the rules govern this qualifies. When you lead your group, you've been guaranteed a place in the 2026 World Cup tournaments. But when you are second, they are now coming to choose 4 of the best placed second teams in the 9 groups. And can the Super Eagles make it this time around? Now let's check out the groups based on their positions for the best second teams in the various groups. Gabon, 19 points. Madagascar, 16 points. DR Congo, 16 points. Burkina Faso, 15 points. Cameroon, 5th with 15 points. Namibia, 6th with 15 points. Uganda, 7th with 15 points. Benin in Nigeria's group, 8th with 14 points. And Tanzania, 9th with 10 points. Looking at this, the Super Eagles can take 6 maximum points in the next qualifiers. That will be the last round against Lesotho, an away game, and against Benin, a home game. If they're able to accumulate all these points, they'll be moving from 11 points to 17 points. They'll be somewhere second. But as you know, the other countries that I've made mention from Gabon to Tanzania will also play 2 matches to know where they be fit on the log. So what they have now is to win the 2 matches. After that, they are going to select 4 of the best in the second runner-up's position to compete in Africa, and they will choose the best to compete intercontinentally to see how they can make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament, which is going to be very difficult for the Super Eagles. But for the time being, automatically they are not out. Technically, they are out. So they have to put in the efforts that they can do to get the maximum points for Nigerian football community. And that's about the World Cup qualifiers. On this note, I'm not the only one having that hope. Former Super Eagles player Friday Ekeocha has also spoken. According to him, he's insisting that it's not all loss. They can still make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament. What they can do now is to win the remaining matches. Let's check out what Friday Ekeocha said. According to him, the Super Eagles' hope of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup is not over yet. The most important thing at the moment is for the team to win their remaining 2 games and hope other countries from other groups fail to get higher points. Of course, it's part of football. You should think negative for your opponents in order to get the qualification. And I know it can happen. And this is football. Getting to the last minutes. We always say that last days are dangerous. So let's see how things can happen for the Super Eagles. We should still support them to get the 6 points in the month of October. From there, we have further discussions to know whether they can make it or not. Now, let's proceed with what he said. So, I still believe that the Super Eagles will make it to the football's biggest showcase. The draw against South Africa doesn't mean that we are out of the World Cup race. Until the final game, I'm still optimistic Nigeria can qualify for the World Cup. So, according to Friday Ekeocha, until the final whistle or the last game of the qualifiers, he's still optimistic that the Super Eagles can make it to the World Cup tournament. Frederick, head coach of the team, has also spoken. According to him, his players are very professional and they can win the remaining matches to qualify for the World Cup tournament. Because according to him, anything can happen. And these are the exact words of Frederick. My players are professionals and I know they'll still want to win the remaining 2 games. A lot can happen over the next 1 month. But before that, you have to analyze our performance tonight, which will not be easy. And that is it. He's going to analyze the performance of the Super Eagles against that of Bafana. It's not going to be easy, but he thinks or he reckons that the Super Eagles can still make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Now, let me proceed from the camp of Kenneth Ra. According to Kenneth Ra, Benin can also make it to the 2026 World Cup tournament, but he's afraid of South Africa getting points from other countries. But what he can do is to beat South Africa and qualify for the World Cup tournament. Aside that, he's very optimistic in his team, Benin qualifying for the World Cup tournament. They are now second with 14 points, and South Africa is leading them with 3 points. So this time around, they have to defy all the odds. If Nigeria wants to be second, they have to go in against Lesotho with the 3 points and also go in against Benin. That will be the decider for who to be third, for who to be second on the log. And that time, I know at Uyo, at the Gosiro Akpobio Stadium, by all means, the Super Eagles will defeat Benin. And these are the exact words of the head coach of Benin, Kenneth Ra, former coach of the Super Eagles. We still have a chance to qualify for the FIFA World Cup, but Bafana still have the 3 points from Lesotho game. This is really a scandal, and no one is talking about it. It is unbelievable. It's crazy. He needed to make these pronouncements to know how he can also go by it and know how things will work. Now, let me talk about this. This is very sensitive. From one of the Nigerian journalists, he spoke with one of the sports journalism outlets in Ghana, Sporty FM. According to Oluwashina Okeleje, a lot is surrounding the Super Eagles team. For the past 30 matches, close to 3 years, they've not paid bonuses to the players who have had call-ups so far for the Super Eagles. And it is overwhelming to the hearing of him as a sports journalist. And you have to check it out to know how you are going to draw your conclusion about this whole issue. Let's check it out.
In Nigeria, you have players who have been unpaid their match bonuses going into 30 matches now. 30 matches dating back to 3 years.
30 matches. Oluwashina, 30.
Yes, sometimes these players are unmotivated. They are demotivated. They are not in a good frame of mind. All of these, and in fact, that Nigeria, as big a nation as Nigeria is, they only have a stadium in Uyo that is up to the FIFA and CAF standard in terms of hosting a match. This is Nigeria with over 20 stadiums scattered across the nation. Only one is approved for international football. They keep there's no technical center where players train and all of that. They are moved from hotels to hotels. There's no stability. The coaching selection as well. They've used over 50 players in terms of how many games in 4 matches. They've called up over 50 different players. I mean, how do you do that?
Still in the camp of the Super Eagles and docking. Before I go to the point docking, let me talk about the prodigy, the man, or let me say the boy, who has now become the toast of all Super Eagles fans, Benjamin Frederick. He didn't show any nerve playing competitively for the Super Eagles in the World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and South Africa. I know you can attest to the fact that he played with calmness. He was very composed, and indeed, reasonably, he was aggressive on the field of play for the Super Eagles. According to his club side, Brentford, as you all know, he's on loan at one of the Belgium's club, FCV Dendel Football Club. And from what is happening, he's on a loan deal. And from the team's reports that I've gotten to know and I've made research about, they just gave him on loan without an option to purchase him permanently because they know what they are doing. And this time around, I can exclusively review on Sports Filler that they've issued strong statements to clubs that are intending to get a signature that he is not for sale. So according to Brentford, Benjamin Frederick is not for sale. After his loan deal at Dendel Football Club, he will return to the team to have what he can do for Brentford and know how they are going to purchase him or they are going to sell him out for other clubs. And that is starts from his camp. So according to the reports coming in, Benjamin Frederick is not for sale. Now, let me move on to Teboho Mokoena, South Africa Bafana, and Point Docking. Most of the Nigerian football communities are much passionate about the next step. But I've given out comprehensive insights, and I know you also know how things are surrounding this whole brouhaha. According to a well-placed South African Football Association insider, this has transpired so far. FIFA, that is the world's football governing body, never treated this whole brouhaha that we are much interested in as a bona fide protest, but rather a mere complaint from that of Lesotho and other organizations. Secondly, Lesotho failed to follow up and also tick the boxes in accordance with the rules of the game. So these are the reports that are coming in. After that, I will censor on the clarification as to what will happen if you are still waiting for point docking. It's going to be very difficult. So these are the exact words of the insider from the South African Football Association. Anything or any process outside the time frames in the rules ends up being a mere complaint. If Lesotho protested in time, FIFA was going to make a decision. A protest is registered before the game during the match for 24 hours after the final whistle. So just after the game or after 24 hours before, you have to lodge your complaint within that specific duration. Now, everything was outside the time frames. And if it is a mere complaint, FIFA is not obliged to respond or make a decision, was the insider said. Now, let's talk about the clarification in accordance with the rules of the game. And this will be in two lines. First one will be on the rules of the game, and the second one will be on the rules of the procedure. So on the rules of the game, you'll be going with the rules of FIFA, and you have two rules. That is FIFA rule number 19, and that's of 55. 19 talks about expulsion and cautions, and the 55 talks about point docking. And South Africa will only be guilty if you use Teboho Mokoena in that case, meaning for that's of Article 19. Let's talk about Article 19. Article 19 talks about if you have 2 yellow cards accumulation, you have to be suspended for 1 game. And that is for Article 19. And for Article 15, if that happens, or if you proceed to play in the next game, you have to be docked a point. That is 3 points, 3 goals. And that is it surrounding South Africa. If it happened that way, meaning they are guilty of the whole situation. But according to that on the rules of the procedure, which talks about the protest, Article 46. Article 46 is within FIFA rules and laws and the capability of them, based on they being the administrative head of our football, to come out. They can either take it out or come in with a decision. They don't care as to how they follow the procedure. So as I've spoken about, if Lesotho fail to follow up to tick the boxes in accordance with the rules of the game, that is out of FIFA. It's 2 things. It's either they can come out or they can ignore. These are the 2 things. So I've given you the rules of the game. In accordance with the rules, that one will be on that of the game or on that of the procedure. On that of the game, South Africa have violated. And on that of the procedure, Lesotho has also violated. And from that of FIFA, they can decide as to whether they will come out with point docking or not. So these are the whole bra surrounding Teboho Mokoena, and I've simplified this for you to know. So you can go and read out on Article 19, Article 55, and Article 46 of the rules of the game to get to know how the disciplinary committee of FIFA is going to work with it. They are also autonomous decision. After everything, they will hand it over to the main administrative part of FIFA to come out with the ruling. But as it says, it is what it is, and it's not going to work out, as I know from my observations and research that I've made. But it's only time that will officially come out for us to know what has transpired so far with the case. Whatever it is, just keep it logged. I will apprise you of all the latest. I was being supported by my hardworking chief editor, Emmanuel Kwame Asiedu, and my amazing graphic designer, Dominic. Before I take a leave of you, as I promised in my introduction, let me give special shout out to those who commented under my previous videos. Nicholas PK, I do appreciate your support. Emmanuel Abevi, I do appreciate your support. Edward Papason, you are here on Sports Fella. I do appreciate your support. Ahmad Balogun, I do appreciate your support. Close to Lily Love, I do appreciate your support. Wole Fatumbi, I do appreciate your support. Until we meet again on this platform, it's bye for now.